What's up, Tamers? Welcome back to the other decks. My name is Casual Adobo, and today I am very excited to be presenting to you another two-color deck. This time we're going to go with purple-yellow. That's right, we're actually building a deck that has direct synergy with each other, as opposed to the indirect synergy from the black-green deck that I showed you last week, the One Punch Man deck. Now, I'm super excited about this one because I am a purple player at heart. And one of the cards that has been really exciting for me in BT4 has been Anubismon, and just trying to figure out what rookies I can combo with him to get the most value out of his abilities. And I think I found a good one in Salamon. So to show you what I'm talking about, let's head over to the playmat. Alright, and here we have our setup for how we're going to do this combo. You'll notice that we don't have any security. Security is completely blank. Because for this, on deletion, if you have 3 or fewer security, trigger recovery +1. So for this we need to have less than 3. I just thought it was cleaner to just have 0 for this example. We'll also need 1 level 5 purple Digimon. Any will suffice, but we chose Wergurumon for this example. And then in hand, we're going to have Anubismon. For those who don't know, when digivolving, you can play 1 level 3 Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. And on your turn, when you play a Digimon from your trash, that Digimon gains Rush for the turn. The other card we're going to be playing with is Back for Revenge. One of your Digimon gains on deletion, play this card without paying its memory cost. Any on-play effects of the Digimon do not activate. So I think you can see where we're going with this, but to demonstrate it, you start off with this on your turn. You'll swing in with Salamon. Ideally, it dies. You then trash the Salamon, trigger recovery +1. You will then digivolve into Anubismon for 3, and then bring Salamon back as part of its ability. You'll then play Back for Revenge onto Salamon, meaning that when it is deleted, it can come back from trash. You can then swing in with Salamon, and ideally, it dies. So when it's deleted, you get to trigger recovery +1. And then because of Back for Revenge, Salamon will actually come back from trash, and because of Anubismon, it has Rush once again. And so you swing in, ideally, it dies. And then you get to trigger another security or recovery +1. And so with this combo, in this one turn with 5 memory, you're able to destroy 3 of your opponent's security, ideally, as well as recover 3 in your own security. Now, while this is, one of the main combos that we're looking to get, and obviously it's kind of the flashier combo, you'll see once we get to the deck list that there's actually a couple of different things that you can do. And you can kind of pick and choose depending on the situation and the board state and really the opponent that you're playing. So without further ado, let's head over to that deck list. And here we have the deck list. So as always, we're going to start off with the Digitama, and we have the classic combination of 4 copies of Demi-Meramon, which triggers draw 1, trash 1 on deletion, as well as 1 copy of Xiaomon. This one says that when there are 10 or more cards in your trash, it gains retaliation. Now I like this ratio just because most of the stuff I'm trying to do is trigger draw 1, trash 1 to cycle my hand, or just do a pure draw, so I can get to the cards that I need to get to, which are namely my ultimates and my megas. Moving on to the rookies, we do have 4 copies of Tapermon. This one says that on deletion, trigger draw 1. This is very nice because it's just pure draw power. But we also do have 4 copies of Labramon, which is draw 1, trash 1, so this is more hand cycling, but still, it's getting us through our deck faster. Moving on to the yellow side of the things, we do have the 4 copies of Salamon, which I showed off in the deck tech in the beginning of the video. But this says if we have 3 or fewer security, I can talk, we get to trigger recovery +1. And then to round out the rookies, we do have 2 copies of Bushiagumon. This is a 5 cost, but hopefully, ideally, we're not actually playing it for 5 costs, and it does have Rush, so it can attack as soon as it gets onto the field, and this is mainly to be one of our targets for some of our other megas that we'll showcase later in the video. Moving on to the champions, we do have 2 copies of Digimon with Retaliation. Retaliation is just a very strong ability, so wanted to have some presence of that in this deck. But we also have the 4 copies of Digimon from the starter deck. This is a 1 cost to Digivolve blocker, and is technically our only pure blocker of the deck. Now I say pure blocker because we do have 4 copies of the Promo Gatomon, which says that on our opponent's turn, if we have a purple Digimon in play, this Digimon gains blocker. Additionally, as an on-play ability, if we have 3 or fewer security, we get to trigger recovery +1. So this is very nice to have and will combo very nicely with our Mastemon's ability. And this is just an example, one of a few examples of what I said earlier, that this deck has a couple of different combo pieces that you can use depending on the situation. Next up, going into our ultimates, we do have 2 copies of Chimeramon. I like to keep Chimeramon in this deck, mostly as a form of removal, where we're using Tapermon as the target for the effect so that we can delete one of our opponent's level 5 Digimon. And moving on to our other 2 ultimates, we do have 3 copies of Cerberusmon, which says on deletion trigger draw 2, which is nice, and then trash 1. And then we also have 3 copies of Cerberusmon Werewolf Mode. Now, if you've seen my Kaisernail Cerberusmon deck, you know that I'm a huge fan of this, and so I wanted to keep it here, mostly because I like this ability of trigger draw 2 trash 1, and I like the synergy it has with Werewolf Mode, where we can play it for essentially free because of its abilities, and still have rush to attack in. Now, moving on to our megas, we do have 3 copies of Mastemon. This says that when digivolving, we get to trash 1 card from the top of both player security stacks, and then we get to play 1 purple or yellow Digimon with a level of 4 or less from the trash. So depending on what you need, if you're needing a blocker next turn, say you only had 3 and then you're digivolving putting them at 1, you can choose Gatomon as the target for that and then get blocker on the opponent's turn. If you have 4 or more memory, you can choose Bushiagumon and get the free swing in. So there's a couple of different things that we can work with. Next up, the main mega that we want to see when it comes to this deck is Anubismon. Now, we've covered Anubismon extensively, but just as a reminder, when digivolving, we get to play a level 3 Digimon card from the trash without paying its memory cost. And on our turn, when we play a Digimon from trash, that Digimon gains rush, which is incredible. Lastly, for our megas, we do have 2 copies of Magnedramon. This is nice because if we have fewer than 3 security, we get to trigger recovery +2, which is incredible. And then when attacking, we can play 1 level 3 yellow Digimon from our hand without paying its memory cost. Now we can choose either the Salamon, which has that wonderful on deletion ability, or probably more importantly, we target Bushiagumon, which has rush, so it can attack as soon as it hits the field. Next up, moving on to our options, we only have 2 of them here. First up, it is 2 copies of Trump Sword. This is just hard removal for one of our opponent's unsuspended Digimon. And one thing that I wanted to keep in here, just in case we ran into any, honestly really problematic blockers. And then the option card that we're hoping to see in our hand and not necessarily in our security, because it has no security effect, but this is Back for Revenge. On deletion, play this card without paying its memory cost. Incredible with Salamon, and really incredible with any Digimon that you can play once Anubismon hits the field. Because if you're expecting, say your Cerberusmon to get destroyed into security, you can put Back for Revenge on it, and once it dies, not only do you get the trigger to draw 2 trash 1, but it comes back and gains rush because this ability is not level specific, the second one, which is actually kind of incredible. And then to round out the deck, we do have 3 copies of Matt Ishida. This is our memory tamer, so if we have 2 or less, it sets us to 3, and then on play, we get to return a purple Digimon or purple option card from the trash to our hand. So this is good in case we do get some of those Back for Revenges into security and they go straight to trash. We can fish them out with Matt, or if we're in need of a blocker, we can fish it out as well. And there we have it, the purple-yellow Anubismon Resurrection deck. I'm very happy with the inclusion of the yellow cards here. I know 12 seems like a lot to splash in, but I think each and every one of them has a unique purpose and synergizes very well with the other cards that we're running in this deck. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this will work? Do you think this can match up with some of the higher end top tier decks that we're seeing in BT4 and potentially BT5 now that we're coming up to it? Let me know. If you liked the video, please be sure to give it a like, hit that like button, and for more Digimon content like this, please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And until next time, I hope you all have a good one. Catch you later.